Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the virtual man cave, yo. Tonight's the night, you know what's going down. It's the weekly rundown with MLB with Nate the Great. I chopped up the intro, but I'm gonna get it together one day. Yo, what's good, Nate?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Not much, man. It's been a busy week as y'all can see, we on here Friday night. You know what I'm saying? Normally it's Thursday night at 9 p.m., you know what I'm saying? But life be life and things be happening, but we still here though. What's good, man?
I'm chilling, just getting got through another week. Had a tough week myself, but we got through it.
Hey, that's all we can do, man. See, that's the reality of life, y'all. We go through things, man, on an everyday struggle, just like the everyday man, but we still show up and show out, you know what I'm saying, when we can and how we can, man. I see you over there repping your team, man.
Of course, and they're currently down 4-3, and 4-3 against the Orioles.
Okay, well, hopefully they tighten up and get it together. I definitely, as long as they're not playing the Mets, I want them to prosper and shine. You know. But before we get the show started and get things moving, I got to put the disclaimer out there. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. In other words, man, I speak for myself. Nate speaks for himself. We do not speak for the virtual man cave, but the virtual man cave is a safe place. So we, say what we want, how we want, when we want it. And if you get offended, hey, this may not be the show for you. But speaking of shows, listen, tomorrow night, around this time, probably about 10 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? You have the Virtual Man Cave podcast where you got the whole crew. It's I, myself, Model Citizen J from around the way, MLB, you know what I'm saying? Nate the Great right there. We got Troy the Chef, Leo, you know what I'm saying? Leo the God. We got the Panamanian Professor Arthur, and we got Unc, man. And we have a wonderful show talking about a wild, wonderful things. Also, don't forget, we are every Monday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We got D Rigger Presents Moments with Unc. We had our first show last week, man, and trust me, man, it was fun. It was live. We had a great time. Nate pulled up, you know what I'm saying, wearing a Jason mask and stuff like that. I don't know. It was looking crazy out there, man. But we going to talk about that tonight, Nate. We going to have to have, we're going to have a little conversation, but yeah. And Unc show is dope. So, that comes on every Monday at 9:30, man. You need to tap in and tune in, yo. It's a wonderful experience. But enough about that, Nate. Let's get this show started. Let's get it cracking, yo. We got the recap of last week games, man. There was a lot of games going on, man.
Yeah, definitely was a lot of games going on last week. You had some division rival games that were going on. We had some big news that went on this week too, as well as some trades that were made. And we're going to get into all of that this week. So, as we usually start off first, we're going to start off with kind of like the recap, just showing you some highlight videos of what's went on over the last week since our last show.
Right. I got the first video lined up right here. Let's see.
First pitch to right field and deep. Acuna at the wall.
Oh.
He reaches up to grab it.
All right. I don't appreciate that, but that was dope.
Yeah, that was Ronald Acuna, Robin, Pete, and Alonso. Not sure, not ain't no bad. Not sure Soto didn't know where the ball was, what happened with the ball. So I know he was a little confused about whether he should run back or not, because he wasn't sure probably if it hit off the wall. But in that play, I think you just got to go back to first. Take your chances.
Yeah, I mean, he did what he had to do, what he tried to do, man. That was a great, amazing play, man. But that's what other teams do. When you play my Mets, you do amazing things. So I respect that. My team gave them energy, yo.
Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, disclaimers: the delusional, home biased talk by Jay is only the opinions of Jay and Jay only.
Listen, if you don't love the Mets, man, then what you doing with your life? But I will talk about that in another moment. We got another controversial video right here coming up. I don't know. This one's kind of sketchy.
For the Rays, and here's John Swell putting down a bunt, and the throw to first.
Safe. What?
No challenge.
Boy, you're right. No challenge
And
left.
he was safe.
And here comes Kevin Cash. Cash to get Josh Lowe out of there, and he's not happy with Bruce Dreckman down there.
I mean, this isn't even going to be close. It's not. That ball's not even close to the glove.
Goodness.
Wow.
Josh couldn't believe it.
He said, you missed that one.
See, that's unfortunate. One of them situations where using your challenge sometimes before early in the game is not needed.
Yeah, Art, you all right, Art?
What up? Yeah, I'm out in the woods.
And you talking about me? You talking about me posting up coming in with a Jason mask Monday?
Yo, I know, son. This brother Darkness right here, man. What's going on? You
Like the beginning of a horror flick.
I thought
What's
something
that?
was happening. We was gonna have to send some help or something.
Right.
Nah, I'm out in the woods, man.
Okay. Looking like a hitman right now. Art, you good? You on a mission? Would you a hitman 47?
Hey, look. Well, I will say this: one of my drill instructors was a SEAL.
See. All right, y'all. That's why we said a disclaimer when we don't know what Art's doing where he got a polo on right now. He might be doing something dangerous. Watch our back.
Right.
But,
Did you just catch that last video, Art?
Yeah, man, he was safe by a mile, man.
See, that's what happens when you use your challenges up early in the game.
Oh, that was in the ninth inning.
Yeah, that was late in the game when you needed it. When you should have, but they had already used it earlier in the game.
And lost.
That one they did.
So what are the challenge rules in baseball? Are they the same as football and basketball?
Yeah, it's something like if you use your challenge, you get to keep it. You get to keep your challenge. What I would say when I was just looking at that play, I know it's going to be kind of hard, but I feel like it's one of those that's, how like football has anything under 2 minutes is a booth review. I feel like as long as both teams use their challenges and you're in the ninth inning and something like that happens, that should just automatically go to New York to review.
Yeah, that should have been a booth review right there. Because I mean, you could clearly see he beat that throw by at least a step.
Right, because I know in New York they're watching the game, so they can just automatically say, "Hey, we're going to challenge that play. Give us a second, time the game, and then come back and reverse that call."
Right.
But I guess that's the lesson of, hey, you shouldn't have used your challenge earlier.
Are they? Does baseball? I know they were talking years ago about doing like a pitch clock. Are they doing that now or no?
Yeah, the pitch clock been going on for about 2-3 years now.
Oh, okay.
That's why you see a lot of these games ending in under 2.5 hours.
Okay, I hadn't been paying attention, so I didn't know that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Arthur just let it be known he is a casual fan, yo. And coming soon, we got an upcoming show, you know what I'm saying? The health and fitness with Arthur Sobers, because he has his basement workouts where he will tell us how to get right, you know what I'm saying, exercise-wise, certain things we need to eat, rest, recovery, and good technique and posture, and just, overall health and fitness wellness, because all of us are over the age of 40, and, it goes downhill from here if you don't start exercising, all right? So please, stay tuned for that upcoming show, man.
Oh, I got a special guest tonight. I don't know if y'all can see him.
Yeah, we see your dog right there. We see the homie hanging out, man's best friend. The man cave, the virtual man cave is a safe place for everybody. Man, dogs is welcome. Man's best friend. But yeah, we got another video for the recap right here. As soon as I'll pull it up. This is an amazing one right here, Nate. I appreciate you.
And Soto pulls one into right field for a base hit, and there's a milestone hit for Juan Soto, his 1,000th career hit. And Soto pulls one into right field for a base hit, and there's a...
Had to watch that maybe twice, that was something. That was something.
I see he finally woke up.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a matter of time, and I think I said that around the first show, or maybe on the other podcast, our main podcast show, that it was just going to be an adjustment because now he's now he's adjusting to the fact that knowing that sometimes he's going to get that Aaron Judge treatment, which is that he's going to automatically get walked. So he's learned to work around it and just continue playing. He was struggling a little bit at first, but like I always say, it's a very long season, so everybody's gonna go through a slump. Like Aaron Judge was just going through a slump. He just kind of got out the slump with a home run today against the Orioles.
Yeah, I wish he got out that slump against Boston though.
Yeah, we'll get into that recap too.
Hey, it's funny because the diner I go to get my lunch sometimes, the owner's a Red Sox fan. And every time I walk in there, he got that big bright ass red B on his head, man. I'm like, man, if you don't take that hat off, man, I'm not giving you no more of my money.
But you did.
What's that?
But you still do. Right. And the food hitting, ain't it? That's why he giving it to him.
Yeah, the food banging, man.
Nah, but we got this video right here coming up. Nate, let us know what's going on right here, bro.
Now Rndown cracked one to left. Minnesota out of here. Back-to-back homers. A milestone for Rndown. That's number 350.
All right, much respect due.
Yeah, I heard that one coming off the bat.
Yeah, that's doing on Rndown. The St. Louis Cardinals hitting his 350th home run. Been to continue.
No, I'm saying how long bro been in the league, yo? 350. That's a big number right there.
Oh, excuse me. Rndown's been in the league. He's one of the vets of the league. He's been in the league for 13 years. And in that 13 years, just to give a quick recap of his stats, he has 66 hits this year right now he's back with 66 hits, 9 home runs, batting .247. For his career, he's got 1,892 hits, 350 home runs, with a career batting average of 284 with 1,170 RBIs.
That's a lot of home runs, man.
Yeah, he started his career off with the Colorado Rockies and played there for a number of years. He was with Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, for about 7 years. Then he moved on to St. Louis. He's been with the Cardinals ever since 2021.
That's a lot of home runs. So you think 300 is a lot? Imagine somebody hitting 700, man. That's a lot of freaking home runs, man.
Yeah, like that's a major power hitter right there, yo.
Yeah, some of his best years was with Colorado. His first, like when he was within his third and fourth year. His third year, he hit 42 home runs with 130 RBIs, which led the league, the National League. And then the following year after that, he hit 41 home runs with 133 RBIs.
That's a lot, man.
Okay, so he wasn't playing. So what his contract look like, man? He getting paid, right, man?
There you go, the getting paid contract.
I'm just saying, though, if you hitting 350 home runs, like
that's a lot of home runs.
350 in the bag, yo. You better have like 350 mil in the bank account, man, at least.
Well,
yo.
That's the only thing, though. But 300 is a lot. But you thinking to get 300 mil, you got to be in 400 or 500 range.
Yeah, come on.
Nah, he not that far. When he was with Colorado, he did sign an 8-year, $260 million contract. So that was back then, and then I'm trying to actually pull up his St. Louis contract. His current contract with the Cardinals, because he's making $32.5 a year. So right now with St. Louis, this year in 2025, he's making $21 million this year. He's actually an unrestricted free agent in 2028.
Hey man, pay that man.
That's guaranteed money. That's guaranteed money. That's baseball's guaranteed money. So you sign that contract and tell your ACL don't play ever again. You still getting that money. That's crazy.
So let me ask you, after we share this next video, let me know who's better. This dude or my man 350, yo.
James Wood, high in the air, deep center. Stretch ball, going back. Hilliard. Streak. See you later. Bob, we get to light it up. another ball, 110 from James Wood, his first. And you felt like it was going to come down to the big man to end this streak. Face the franchise moment. Did Splitter. He hangs it. Look how short he is. Short and compact.
Yo, Brody sent that right there.
Yeah, that's James Woods. That's one of actually the future bright stars for Major League Baseball. He's only his second year playing for the Washington Nationals. Now, in that home run, the reason why they seem so excited because the Nationals were on an 11-game losing streak at that time. And James Woods hits a walk-off home run to break that 11-game losing streak. It was a struggle. They were even swept by the they didn't see who they were playing. They had lost to the Marlins, got swept by them, and then the Colorado Rockies that took the first 2 games. The same Colorado Rockies team who is right now the worst team in the league, but they have been showing some improvement over the last few weeks. And to lose to a team like that, and you're in the midst of a losing streak along with some dissension within the team. That walk-off felt good. And I'm going to talk more about that in the news as far as the dissension in the team, especially regarding the head coach, Dave Martinez.
Yo, 11-game losing streak. Yeah, that must feel real good, man. Somebody on his team brought him a good steak dinner that night, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the thing about baseball, man. It's so long. One thing I noticed about baseball, just from coaching my son and trying to play when I was younger, it comes easier when you relax. The difference in football, you got to try harder. You got to put more effort in it. You know what I'm saying? You got to concentrate more. With baseball, at least for me, I notice when you relax more, you just let the game come to you. Your natural talents will shine. You still got to practice. Don't get it twisted. You still got to care a little bit, but you can't care so much that it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, Art. You tell that to somebody who loves baseball. You looking at Nate right now. Nate, like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I got that.
But Nate,
no, I understand what you're talking about.
But what I'm saying is Nate's a cool character though. You notice? You know what I'm saying? Like he the coolest one he the most laid back one on the cast. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, son. I don't know. Unc is pretty chill. Unc is pretty chill. What are you talking about?
So what I'm saying is not that you don't care, but when you just play.
Nate, he pretty said you don't care. He called you lazy, Nate. He trying to call you lazy on your own show.
Man, I don't even know why I'm following you up, man. Stop, man. Stop.
Yeah. I don't know why you kept going, Art. I'm just like, all right, he just steady gaslighting.
Yo, he pretty much just called you lazy, Nate. He was like, yo, you lazy, you laziest one on the podcast. You don't be doing nothing. Like, how you gonna let this man talk about you on your show?
Anyways, James Woods, like I said, I'm gonna give that away a little bit. When we go to our shining stars, back to the major league players, one of these weeks he is gonna be highlighted, and he's a local hometown product from the DMV.
Oh, word?
Okay, shout out to the DMV.
Okay, that's what's up. Hey,
we got another video. The next video we got right here for the weekly recap.
Hey.
Let's see. Oh, I lost my mouse.
Come here.
Sorry for the technical issues, y'all. You know we
high and deep. Right center field. Garcia is at the wall. Home run number 1 for Jack Caglione.
Hi, Jack. Yo, his last name take up the whole back of the jersey. Really? Like, hold up. How many letters is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got like 10, 11. Man, listen. He passed the SATs just by spelling his name correctly. That's crazy.
20 letter last name.
And for those who've seen it, that's just typical. That's just appreciation of love every time you see When the guy hits their first home run in the league, they act like, yeah, whatever. And then afterwards, they'll acknowledge him. So that's why you see him just like he high fiving by himself, or everybody just acting like nothing happened. They do that all the time. Sometimes you'll see guys, the guys in the dugout, they'll all leave and go down into the dugout, going like they're going to the locker room. So when he comes back to home plate and when he comes back to the dugout, nobody's there, and then everybody will come out and congratulate him afterwards.
Pretty much, they do like how we do, man. That's a true brotherhood, where we just troll each other, make fun of each other. How I was just gaslighting Arthur right now. He just fell for the bait,
I fall for the bait every damn time too.
Listen, that's why they got to tune into the show every Saturday at 10 p.m. the Virtual Mancave podcast with the whole crew. We just a funny group of gentlemen that just bug out, give our opinion on certain topics and whatnot.
And just a little fun random topic. His first name is actually Jeffrey. Full name.
Jeffrey. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad how did he get? Where did Jack come from?
Probably a little nickname. He's they call him Cags. They call him Jackhammer Cags.
Well, I'm glad he didn't call him Jeffrey Googly Gami, whatever his last name. And
but he was highly ranked. He's a highly ranked first round pick for the Kansas City Royals last year, went 6th in the first round in the June amateur draft, and came out from the University of Florida.
And listen, y'all, if y'all hear me chop up somebody's last name, I'm just being funny. I'm not making fun of nobody. It ain't serious. Don't take it personal. It's just comedy. You know what I'm saying? I got that line from my homie Talent, who I think is a dope comedian and stuff like that. So, don't take it personal, y'all. It's just comedy, man. We just trying to have fun. But we got another video coming up, another highlight, another recap. Let's see. Yo, Nate, I'm getting a little bit better at this, pulling the videos for the recap, yo.
As he launches
I see.
Line deep in the corner, back it goes, and that is a fair ball and a home run. So Clemens clovers that pitch down the right field line. Now Buxton, can he do it again? You bet. This one carrying. This one is back, and that is gone. Byron Buxton 2 for 2, 2 home runs. The Twins go back to back. And the helmet that was briefly on Cody's head, it needs a new noggin. 4-2 Twins here in the second.
Cody Clemens could.
Yeah, so that was back-to-back home runs by Cody Clemens and Byron Buxton against the Cincinnati Reds. And if that last name sounds familiar to you, that is Roger Clemens' son, who's playing for the Minnesota Twins. Cody Clemens.
Okay. So let me ask you, what's so special that they put the little gladiator helmet on the homie, son?
That's their the players they've made their celebrations. People always think baseball is boring, but they gotten away from that old school where you're supposed to just be running around the bases and then that's it. Guys have fun because that's really how the dugout be a lot of times. You're having fun in between innings, especially if you're not playing. So like the Mets, when they hit home runs, they'll come all the way through the dugout and then they'll get by the camera that's aimed into the dugout and then they'll put up the OM. It'll say like OMG or they say amazing and everybody do like a picture and they snap a picture or whatever.
I mean, of course, we amazing. And don't forget about the apple. Can't forget about the apple, bro.
Anyways, the San Diego Padres got this real big, look like Flavor Flav type clock, but it's a San Diego in the gold chain. They put it around the neck. The Angels actually did a real cool touching one because of the fires that happened in LA. They use now this season they're using a firefighter helmet for the Los Angeles Fire Department.
Nate, I need to understand how you can allow Arthur to post slander on your show, but I'll talk about the Mets, and you know what I'm saying. You just like brush me off and like curve me, man. Like
because it's every week. It's every week.
All right, so let me ask you this: who am I supposed to talk about then if I'm not talking about the Mets show?
I didn't say you couldn't talk about the Mets, but sometimes the delusion is a little out of hand.
Yo, somebody giving you a shout out real fast. Art, they're saying you fancy. I wasn't gonna say nothing about how you had a polo shirt on and you on the porch show. You know what I'm saying? It's all good though. You Hollywood, baby. You Hollywood.
Nah, I'm just in the country, man. That's all it is.
All right.
You get these things when you move out to the country, man. That's all.
Hey, you living good, son. You know what I'm saying? You got the ultra dry fit polo on right now, so you know it catch the moisture and the heat and perspiration and stuff. You know. So until Nate comes back, what are some real quick, Art? What are some things that we could look forward to with your upcoming podcast, man?
So, like you said, man, it's just basically teaching you how to just stay fit, stay active. Muscle. When you build muscle or you lose weight, that's the aesthetic value of exercise. You know what I'm saying? That's the outward part. The benefits of exercise are more in the inward parts. You know, your blood sugar, is your blood sugar regulated? You know what I'm saying? Your blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? Ways to reduce your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, which can kill you if you don't have those levels regulated. And as black men over 40, we gotta get our prostates checked.
All right, we ain't gonna give them too much information, man.
I'm just telling you.
That's real, and this is why your show is gonna be so dope and informative, because you're gonna give people information like this on the real to rails, because we know they don't know. A lot of people don't know that you have experience in the medical industry and stuff like that, in the medical field, and you got a vast knowledge and stuff and whatnot to let people know. I used to dibble and dabble as an EMT many moons ago. That was another lifetime and stuff like that. So I know we understand the importance of health and fitness and everything else. So yeah, that was a quick little quick dose of what you can expect, from the health and fitness podcast with Arthur Sobers, the Panamanian warrior right there, So we appreciate that. And somebody want to let you know that his porch is made out of metal fire escape, yo. Fancy, baby, you fancy. They saying you fancy, bro.
You got to move out to the country, man. That's what I'm saying.
And listen, the country, man. I don't know. They a lot of mosquitoes out there. Look, see, we made Art run away, yo. But until Art comes back, though, we got another video to share with you guys.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
She caught it! Wow! Full backflip.
I thought Bill almost got hit in the face.
104.7, no problem for Matthew Boyd in your living room. Look out!
Oh,
yeah, that was
right there.
As you see, that would have been his whole face.
Yep.
Yeah, he would have got free dental surgery right there.
Yeah, that happened a few hours ago. That was the first game of the day. Cubs versus the Mariners.
Yeah, I want to know how many times that really happens in a game, but the catch is not. But the pitch is not that fast to catch it.
I'm gonna have to send you a video of that. It's a compilation of pitchers get hit.
Yeah,
it happens. It doesn't happen. It hasn't happened lately, but it can happen a lot. A lot of times pitchers, that's what they practice on to make sure that they don't get hit.
So, like, how do you practice that, yo? Like, what do you practice? What drill do you go through to practice and make sure you don't get hit in the face?
Well, it's all about from after you give your delivery, being able to be prepared for that pitch to come back to you. That's why sometimes you do see a lot of pitchers when they throw the ball. A lot of times the glove is already up here near the face anyway.
Right.
That way you can turn around and block it. Like I come in and the Yankees had just yesterday they had just gave a tribute. Well, they put who named that Yankee and they shouted out Jim Abbott, who was a pitcher for the Yankees. Who if for those who don't know who Jim Abbott was, he was a left-hander for the Yankees for some years. He pitched a no-hitter for them. Abbott was born without a right hand. So what he would do is he just put the glove on the knob of his hand, the glove. He pitched with his left, then switch it over the glove over to his left hand. He has to do all that in one motion after throwing the ball. And he was a good fielder. He was a good fielder.
I remember him.
That's crazy.
I remember him.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, but I don't know. Do you think pitchers should have the right or the ability, if they wanted to wear a helmet or a face mask or something, or face guard. I don't know.
I've seen it in college. And
Yeah.
you've seen it in rec leagues. You definitely see it. That happens. Some people people don't believe it, but even in softball, you can get hit with a line drive right back. You see it. Matter of fact, you see it in women's college softball and stuff.
I say women college softball, they do it, and I've seen some YouTube videos in men's league where
Yeah,
they play where it's not fast pitch softball, it's like arc ball. They just put it up there, and in certain leagues, I've also seen that it's illegal to like target the pitcher. You know what I'm saying? Hit line drives at the pitcher. If it looks like an intention.
You can't control that. I mean, you hit the ball.
I'm gonna show you a video where a good hitter can be intentional.
Yeah, you can aim it. You can aim it a certain way.
Yeah, because it's not fast. It's softball. It's not fast pitch. It's like arc ball, a real slow pitch, and you got time to aim it where you want. Where it's pretty much almost every hit could be a home run if they felt like it.
For me, that's bush league type play though. For me,
yeah, that's kind of dirty. So Nate, I got a question for you though. I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked you this earlier, but what is the difference? Is there a skill set difference between a relief pitcher and a starting pitcher? Is it a skill set difference or is it just endurance? What's the difference?
I think it's more just a skill set, because you can have a relief pitcher who can go 5 or 6 innings themselves. Like just think about and sometimes you see a starting pitcher get in trouble and they come in there 2 innings, they get rocked for 8 runs and 9 runs. You'll see a relief pitcher come in and he might pitch 5 or 6 shutdown innings, and then they'll go to the next reliever. But you got relievers now who do actually start. And look at to give an example from the San Diego Padres, Michael King. His entire career with the Yankees, he was a closer. He was a relief pitcher, closer, setup man. Then he went to the Padres, and now he's a starter for the Padres. He's currently hurt, but he's a starter for the Padres. Same thing with Clay Holmes, who was on the Yankees and pitches for the Mets. He was a closer with the Yankees. He's a starter for the Mets now.
So let me ask, could it be that a relief pitcher could have the potential or could be a starter on another team, but he just fits the team as a relief pitcher for a certain organization?
It all depends, because endurance does play a part though too, because you got some relief pitchers who can only go a few innings. They may can only give you 2 or 3 and they gassed. Okay. Especially if you got pitchers who throw hard. Every pitcher throws, as they say, throws hard these days, throws 100 miles or whatever. But some pitchers wear out after 2 innings. Why do you think you never see Aroldis Chapman going 5 or 6 innings? Chapman's maybe good for 2 innings. By that 3rd inning, he's starting to get a little winded.
Man, boy, better eat his Wheaties and do some push-ups.
Because he works out, like he's got this crazy, like the exercise he does for because especially with pitching, but
I'm just trolling. I can't throw 15 pitches. I throw 10 pitches. My arm is tired. I'm done.
And at his age, he'll still be throwing 100 plus. Because even in the series against the Yankees, he was throwing 103. He even topped that 105.
103. Lord Jesus, picture me throwing 103. I'm probably ain't even throwing 80.
In the box. I'm not standing in the box.
I'm standing. No, Arthur, you incorrect. I'm standing in a box, a steel box. If he's throwing pitches, I ain't trying to get hit with nothing. Crazy. He's throwing fast. But else, else who got the heat though? This next picture from the Dodgers right here, man. As soon as I line up this video. Yeah, shout out to the Brody Leo, you know what I'm saying, for helping me out.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
Shohei Ohtani pitching for the Dodgers. Fernando Tatis Jr. climbs in. Ohtani kicks and throws, and off we go with a bouncing ball foul. 98. This is right after he walked off of the mound. He didn't even go in the dugout. Javier had his equipment for him, and he transformed from pitcher to leadoff hitter.
Please stop, promise.
So that was Shohei Ohtani pitching for the first time this year for the Dodgers. Otani only pitched one. He only pitched one and then faced 3 batters, and he and after that, so they're watching, they're restricting him. So right now he's going to be on restrictions. He might pitch an inning, and then it'll move up maybe to 2 or 3 innings because
Yeah,
he's just coming back off that
doing him
surgery.
like that?
Because he's just coming off a surgery.
Nah, I mean they gotta let him chill though, bro. Like,
Well, that's your $700+ million investment. So the thing about it, I'm curious, and I think because you're gonna have to monitor going forward because pitchers when they throw a lot of pitches, when you're throwing 90 pitches in a game, I want to see how they handle it the next day. Are they going to let him play the next day just as a hitter, or are you going to give his arm at least a day to rest? Now maybe he can come in as a pitch hitter, and say if the game is close, but I think you should let it. I think you should at least give him a day off to rest that arm fully before letting him come back in as a hitter. Because pitchers usually pitch every 5 days, 5 to 6 days.
yeah, I mean that's crazy though. Let the man get his heel recover, yo. Just use him as a hitter. Let him get some good contact. You know what I mean?
Well, that was last year.
And don't let him pitch, yo. That's crazy.
He didn't pitch last year because he had the surgery. So he was out. He was out for pitching all of last year, but they used him for hitting.
Yeah, well, you better. He did a good job. So continue. If it ain't broke, you know what I'm saying. Don't try to fix it. Don't force nothing, man.
I personally, though, I think you got to monitor that and see how he's going to be as a starter. I mean, even though he's young, yes, and I'm pretty sure he says he's fine too. I wouldn't be objected to him even moving to the bullpen at some point too, and being one of your and being in the bull because he won't pitch as much during coming out of the bullpen.
Exactly, I can respect that, and with all due respect, his nature, his heritage, his culture is not going to allow him to say, "Yeah, I'm hurt. Sit me out. I don't want to play." He a dog when it comes to this baseball, man. You know what I'm saying? He bleed baseball, so of course he's not gonna say I'm hurt. I can't do this or I can't do that. It's up to the organization. I know they put a lot of money behind him, but he's young. Protect your investment, yo. And plus, go ahead, Nate.
No, I was just gonna say, well, see, that was one of the things that I think was a problem in when he's playing for the other LA team, the Angels. And that's what got Joe Madden. That might have been one of the things that got Joe Madden fired because Joe Madden didn't want to play him the next day because he just finished pitching 90 something innings or what. I mean 90 something pitches or such forth. So he like, hey, sit him out, but they want to have a play, and I don't know if I think they were using it more for the ratings and the attendance.
They was, of course, they was using it. We need him out there. You know what I'm saying? He's put butts in the seats, yo. People buying popcorn because of him, man. Glizzy sales is off the chart, yo, since he started pitching, yo. Come on now. Get him out there on the mound, yo. We ain't got time for him to sit down.
But that was the only reason that people were watching the Angels anyway in the first place. Mike Trout was hurt. So who was their star prodigy? He was out at the time. So, but you do have to protect them because I think about guys who had great arms, but I think some teams hampered their pitchers by not pitching them enough. Like I didn't like the way the Nationals handled Steven Strasburg.
Strasburg. I was going to ask about him, but he got a ring though, right? Was he on that team?
He was on the national team in 2021. He just retired too.
Wow, what they do with him? What was that situation like?
They pitched him too much, played him too much.
Then they want to baby him. To me, they babied him at one point. You wanted to shut him down around July or August. Like around July or something. Like you still got like 2 or 3 more months of baseball left. So but it worked out for him. He besides getting paid, he got to play a decent amount of years, more than a decade career. So
is he Hall of Fame?
And won the World Series. So
is he Hall of Fame?
Nah, I don't think he's Hall of Fame. I don't think he did enough to be considered Hall of Fame. Not in my opinion. I don't see it.
Bakersfield.
He might. Maybe he'll be Nationals Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he definitely Nationals Hall of Fame.
I'm not laughing. I'm not knocking it. You know what I'm saying? Because only Hall of Fame I'm in is my mother's and my kids, yo. That's about it. That's all that matters to me.
Right.
But It's just the way it just comes like, he ain't making the, he ain't going to Bakersfield, but in Nationals, yeah, he definitely in there. He got the Nationals. He locked. He a lock for that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's a lock for Canton. Yeah, Canton. I think that's a stretch for Canton.
Oh, Canton's not Bakersfield. My bad. I'm just over there making up places.
He's got I can tell you he's got his win loss is 113 wins, 62 losses with an ERA of 3.24, with 1,723 strikeouts.
Yo,
totally in 13 years. Art, what that sound like to you?
It's borderline, but I'll say for a starting pitcher, your ERA is going to be higher anyway, because you face some more batters. So I don't know. We was here at the peak of his career. So
yeah, if he'd had 300 wins, that automatically gets that automatic 300 wins or 3,000 strikeouts. That usually gives you at least a chance to be automatic bid.
But then you also got to look at the team he had. He wasn't on very good teams either.
Right, and the best record he had was in 2019 when he went 18-6.
But again, he didn't have good teams, and that was a period of time where they kept going through managers. Their managers was like revolving doors.
Yeah, Dusty Baker and all.
And then Jim Riggleman, remember that? Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
He quit in the middle of the season.
Yeah, we'll be talking about them, and when we get to the news part, should be one more video left. Jay, and it's still staying with the Dodgers about what occurred in the 9th inning of last night's game between the Dodgers and the Padres as they closed out their series.
Was it this one right here? I believe.
Yeah.
Baby. Oh boy.
Started from the beginning.
Look at Shohei just waving him off.
1 second.
Waving off the thing. Yeah, Shohei's turning around, telling his dugout.
I was about to start over.
Right? Fine. Right. Look.
Pardon for the technical difficulties.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Mike Schilt and Dave Roberts
like that hurt.
trying to get at each other.
Wow. Oh man.
Oh baby.
All right.
Oh boy.
That's how it started.
No, that's not how it started. That was the last moment right there.
Waving off the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Shohei's
It started with the first one with
turning
Tatis
around,
getting hit.
telling his dugout,
Gotcha.
stay put, right? Fine, right? Look.
It
Oh,
started with that one.
Okay.
The thing about it was that was the 4th time he's been hit this season during their series. That was he got hit again also like the night before that. He got hit in the back. And so a lot of people thought, since it's already known that it got hostile a little bit, they're not going to throw at anybody. That night they're going to wait till their next series they play each other. But Randy Vasquez, he was down 0-3 in the count against Ohtani. Excuse me. It looked like he was just going to walk him, but he ended up throwing at him on that 4th pitch, and then they ended up throwing Vasquez out of the game. Matsui came in as reliever and closed that game out for the Padres as they salvaged that series. But right now, I'm talking strictly baseball, no biasness, no hometown biasness or nothing. That is the most intense and the best rivalry, most exciting rivalry right now in baseball right now, as far as today. Not long term, but right now, San Diego and LA is the most exciting. San Diego, as I said before in previous shows, they're the one team that give the Dodgers everything they got every time. Before they was overlooked because of LA, the Dodgers in the name, of course, but they've always been competitive against the Dodgers. Remember, a couple of years ago when the Dodgers won 100+ games, they actually knocked the Dodgers out of the playoffs in the first round. So San Diego is one of those teams that I just feel like I don't know if they're ever going to get over that hump or not, but they definitely when it's time to go against the Dodgers, that series gets real intense. And I love watching. I tune into every game every time they play each other. So they got a break for now because they played about 6 or 7 times in the last week or so They won't play again until they come back to the Dodgers host the Padres August 15th for a three-game series, and then after that, followed by August 22nd they go to San Diego. So again, those series will be within about a week's time. Come in August.
Okay. Listen, that ties up the recap of last week's game, Nate. Man, we appreciate all the videos and the content and the information that you gave us, yo. That was pretty dope, yo. I feel sorry for the for homie that got hit though. He was getting pegged all for that whole series, yo. But I'm glad it's, had his back though.
And that's one of their star players. That's one of their star players. So you hit a star player in retaliation, you got to hit another star player. You're not going to hit the 12th best player on the team. You're going to hit another star player to send a message across.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
you got the standings. You got the standings while you looking for that.
Oh yeah, I'm about to pull it up right now because even though it's not looking too good for my Mets and everything, but I will pull up the standings. We can look at it and see what's going on in the baseball world, Joe.
Yeah, we're gonna do a quick recap of the standings.
Yeah, I know why you want to talk about the standing, Joe, because somebody team is looking great.
Actually, no, I'm just saying, because I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Mets too, and what's going on with them. So as we see, these are the current standings as of now. There are some games that are still currently going on. You got Tampa Bay up on the Tigers 11-6 right now. Brewers beating the Twins 8-2 in the top of the 8th. Diamondbacks are beating Colorado. The Astros are up 2-0 on the Angels right now, going into the 4th inning. Kansas City's up on the Padres 1-0 in the 4th. You got the Cleveland Guardians down 3-0 to the Athletics. The Dodgers are down 1-0 right now in the bottom of the 2nd to the Nationals in LA. And the Boston Red Sox are playing the San Francisco Giants in San Francisco. They're down 1-0. As you see in the standings, we're going to start with the American League division. Oh, Jay, you didn't have to do that. I was just going to recite that on my own.
Oh, okay, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm trying to let it do what it do, kid.
Now, I appreciate you. For the standings right now, the Yankees still run the top of the division with a win. As you see, the Tampa Bay Rays, who have been the hottest team in baseball.
What happened?
Oh, Nate done froze. Well,
no, he dropped.
Oh, he dropped?
Yeah, he dropped.
Oh man.
It's game 5-3. You got Toronto 3rd and the Red Sox are 4th. Orioles are still in last place. 2 games.
Hold up, Nate. See that lets it be known. I gotta stop sharing the screen for a second. Y'all, I don't know if y'all seen what just happened, Nate with the max headroom glitch or something like that. Listen, people, you see the Cash App down below. You know what I'm saying? You see that $ virtual man cave. You know what I'm saying? Hit us up with them donations, man. Everything can help because me and Arthur sitting here and Nate about to go, you know what I'm saying, break it down the standards and stuff like that. And we was like, yo, where did Nate go? Arthur thought you ran away, the call dropped and stuff like that. So, yo, hit up the Cash App, y'all. Help us out so Nate can have good reception. Arthur can get some, some mosquito repellent because, you see him out there scratching his beard. And I can get an official backdrop for my background, Help us help you. You know what I'm saying? But back to the regularly scheduled program. Go ahead, Nate.
And we're going to move over to the Central Division where we have the Detroit Tigers are a 9.5 game lead in the Central Division lead. Cleveland at 48-28. Cleveland is 2nd with 37-36. Twins and Kansas City round out 4th place. The Chicago White Sox are in last, 24 games out at 24-52 record. Houston Astros, the team that most people have said thought was going to be down in the dumps, and with the changes and losing Kyle Tucker and Bregman and some other players, are actually right now in the lead in the division, 4.5 game lead at 43-32. The Seattle Mariners are 2nd at 38-36, followed by the Texas Rangers, 37-39. The Angels are in 4th place at 36-38, followed by the Athletics at 31-46, 13 games back. We now move on to the National League, where the Philadelphia Phillies are now 1 game up on the Mets as they went into the series tied because the Mets been a little rough. It's been a rough for the Mets. You know, they had a tough series against Atlanta, getting swept by the Braves. So because the Mets went in last week with a 6-game lead, and as you see now, they're 1 game behind of the Philadelphia Phillies. They're playing a series. Their series finishes Saturday and Sunday, and then after that, the Mets are going to come back home to host the Atlanta Braves for another series. So they got a rough little patch coming up against division rivals. We'll see how they deal with that. Atlanta's in third place, 11 games out with 34 and 40 record. Then you got the Washington Nationals at 31 and 44, and the Miami Marlins at 30 and 44. Then you move to the National League Central. The Chicago Cubs leading that division by 4.5 games with a 45 and 30 record. St. Louis at 41 and 35, followed by Milwaukee at 40 and 35. Then you have Cincinnati and Pittsburgh rounding out that division, 6.5 games out. Pittsburgh 16 games out. Also, just so you know, for that game, you know, not being funny, Jay, the Mets are on a current 7-game losing streak.
I know.
And then, but you know, like I said, I always say it's a long season. Everybody's going to go through a stretch where they're probably going to have a little losing streak. So
yeah, but not like one team.
Oh yeah. So then we got the Los Angeles Dodgers leading the division by 3.5 games against the San Francisco Giants with 46 and 30. Giants are 42 and 33 in second, followed by the Padres at 40 and 34. Arizona's at 500 with 37 and 37 record, and the Colorado Rockies already 28.5 games out of the division lead with 17 wins and 58 losses. So those are your standings.
Looks like another love TKO. Yeah, it's rough out there in Colorado.
Hey, they went on a little small winning streak. They had a sweep. They had a sweep last week. So, you know, I give it to them for the guys who's not laying down. They're out there playing. But you know, it's still a rebuild. It's a rebuild season for them. They're
getting paid, kid. I ain't even mad at them, son. They get paid more than I do.
And with that, we're going to move on to our news for the week.
All right. Got the first video up. Well, not a video, but the picture to share for you guys.
And of course, the big news is the Rafael Devers trade. Rafael Devers traded from the Boston Red Sox. And in that trade, he was traded to the San Francisco Giants. Within the trade, the Red Sox received Kyle Harrison, starting pitcher, Jordan Hicks, Jose Bello, who's a prospect, and James Tibbs III, who's also a prospect. The San Francisco Giants will take on, along with that, the San Francisco Giants will take on the entire $313 million contract of Rafael Devers. So the Red Sox will not pay the rest of that contract. It will all be paid by the San Francisco Giants. And one end, you know, where it's been talked about, and then we want to see how, when the Red Sox come back home, which would be Monday, how will the fans react to the trade? Because you gave up one of your best hitters, who was, even though, you know, there was the Red Sox organization said that they felt like with the money that they gave Devers, he was not obligated. He was not fulfilling his obligations of that contract, which is to do what's best for the team. As you know, Devers didn't want to move from third base. He didn't want to play first. With the addition of Alex Bregman, it was moving him out of third base. They asked him to play outfield. He didn't want to play outfield. So he was moved to designated hitter. Now, if he wasn't producing, I could understand being a little upset about that, but he was batting .272, 15 home runs, 59 RBIs. He's the best hitter on the team. He was one of the best hitters on the team. And right now, it's been said by others in other baseball networks and platforms, that's going to be a tough bat to replace. In that Boston lineup, you got the young kid Ramon Anthony. Christian Campbell was really one of their top prospects. He was sent down to designated to the minors. They had moved him to first, even though first base is not his position. He was playing more like second and shortstop. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Red Sox do going forward. Still don't know how they're going to fill that first base position full time. Maybe they get a veteran like Alex Rizzo, who hasn't retired, so he's still out there as a free agent. Maybe they may sign him as for the second half of the season. But this is a great pickup. Oh no, go ahead. I'll finish afterwards.
Was that a good trade for them?
For the Giants, it was a great trade. The Giants had a decent lineup, but this elevates them on the offensive side of things. You know, and they're the president of the Giants is the president of operations is Buster Posey, who is a former Giants player. He was on that Giants championship team that won 3 championships between 2010 and 2015. So they had to make that move, and it was a great move for the San Francisco Giants. Now, the level of petty, though, that goes with this is Rafael Devers decides that in this series against the Red Sox, he's going to play first base. So talk about pettiness to the fullest.
Yo, that is super petty, yo.
Like, oh, y'all want to trade me? Okay, all right.
Wow.
And see what makes it tough too with the Boston. You don't know how the fans react. This is like the third player that you've lost. Mookie Betts, where they didn't sign him and pay him. He went to the Dodgers, and you see what he's done with the Dodgers. Won a few championships with the Dodgers. Then you got Xander Bogaerts, who's another beloved Red Sox, left. He signed over in San Diego. And he's over there with Tatis and Manny Machado over there in Cromeworth. So I don't know about the state of the Red Sox because they were playing pretty well. And then what makes it even worse is the guy that you asked him to move for, Alex Bregman, is on the injury list right now. You know, Devers has been there for 6 or so years or so. So, you know, I get it on one end. You want your players, you should be willing to play whatever position if needed. But I also understand, you know, because even Jose Altuve attempted to play outfield.
Right.
This season, but it wasn't working for him out there.
Dude, he like 5'6", man. He can't. He not. And no disrespect. But
I was about to say, yo, Art, you throwing mad shade at people, bro.
I thought you was like 5'9", though. But
I am though, but I gotta look out for the short people though, bro. What you doing? Push-ups? You doing a set right now, Art?
Nah, I got it. So if that's not your skill set, that's not your skill set. I don't care how great you are. Like, can you imagine Barry Bonds trying to play shortstop?
Well, Barry's too big to play shortstop, and he's left-handed.
That's my point. He
would have moved to first base. Now he could have moved to first base. I could see that. I could have seen that happening.
But wasn't A-Rod? Is it A-Rod left-handed?
You being positional prejudice? You being on position prejudice?
No, I'm speaking facts.
You can't play shortstop.
I'm speaking facts. There's no left-handed players in the infield outside of first base and pitching.
But wasn't A-Rod left-handed?
No, A-Rod was right-handed.
Oh, okay.
The thing with Altuve though and I watched, you know, being down here, I watched a lot of those games, and I watched some of those the preseason games and such forth. Altuve, he couldn't read the baseball off the bat. So he was underplaying the ball. Ball was going over his head. He didn't see where it was landing. He had bad jumps on it, so it wasn't for him. But they had him out there because they wanted to have Mauricio Dubon at second base, but they ended up having to move Altuve back to second base. Sometimes they roll reverse, but Dubon can also play shortstop and third base, so they've made it work, you know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, your skill set, like it's just, I mean, as great as you are, sometimes it's just not your skill set. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. It's not your cup of tea, man. No matter how good you are, you just can't play certain positions.
Right.
Understand, y'all. I'm always gonna take the opposite side, find a funny way to throw in a funny comment or just play, as they say, quote unquote, devil's advocate. But now I totally get what you're saying, man. Like, you don't expect in other sports, you're not gonna expect your offensive line to jump on a defensive line and stuff like that.
Actually,
they might be able to do.
Well, actually, hold on. That's a little different because alignment can interchange.
You know,
alignment can interchange.
I don't even like you right now, Art. I don't even like you. See what I mean? You just throwing everybody under the bus, yo.
No, football is a little different because
you know
you can
your corner. So you saying your corner can be a dope wide receiver?
No, I must say not every player.
Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna use that example then. You know,
so
in certain positions,
it depends. Well, Deion did it, and Travis Hunter's doing it. So, but it just depends on the play.
Deion is different. Deion was a different breed, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
He also played baseball too.
Yeah, Deion was a different animal. So yeah,
he's also a Major League Baseball player. He's a different breed. We don't compare him to nobody, but to anybody, just Bo Jackson. That's it. Bo Jackson and Deion get spoken in the same breath.
Well, you can't even compare the two of them because if Bo didn't get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, we all know. Listen, Bo Jackson had his cartoon with Wayne Gretzky and Michael Jordan. You
Pro
know,
Stars.
nobody had a cartoon back in the day like that, son. So you know you're real. Bo knows, kid. Bo knows.
Yeah. So without Tuve, the only thing I say is oh no, I think Houston was trying to think about what LA did with Mookie Betts. Mookie played the right field. He played the outfield all that time, and then Mookie decided last year to have better defense on the field. Jason Hayward was able to play in right field, and Mookie moved to the infield. So I think Houston was thinking maybe we can move Jose out there to the outfield, but that just didn't work. And like I said, with Christian Campbell, he's their young protege. He's only 22 years old. He had came up back 223, 6 home runs, 21 RBIs, but it wasn't enough run production and consistency. So he'll be designated back down, and we'll see what happens with him. So we'll see what happens with the Red Sox going forward, and keep an eye on that going forward with their organization. Post Rafael Devers.
We got another video right here for the news and topics, and right now, let us know what's going on right here with this one. They have to watch it.
It's never on coaching. Never on coaching. Okay, coaches work their asses off every single day. You know, we're not going to finger point here and say it's coaches. It's never on the coaches. Okay, they work hard. The message is clear. All the work is done prior. So sometimes they got to go out there and they got to play the game. It's always been about the players. Always. I played this game a long time. Never once have I done the coach for anything. I mean, we worked our asses off to get better. They gave us information and we used it. So these guys understand what the game is, man. These coaches, I never had such a group of coaches that worked as hard as they do. I mean, they're here freaking diligently. They go over everything. They sit with players every day. These coaches, they work their asses off. So, and I know every coach's staff is like that. So, sometimes, and the players know. Sometimes, you got to put the onus on the players. They got to go out there and they got to play the game and play the game the right way. We can't hit for them. We can't catch the balls for them. We can't pitch for them. We can't throw strikes for them. They got to do that.
How much of that is on the players?
Woo.
Talk about it.
Take this one.
No, go ahead, Art.
He's right and wrong. The coaches can teach him and tell him and give him pointers and tips. It's up to the players to execute.
You can lead a horse to water, can't make him drink.
Can't make him drink. But at the same time, don't throw your players under the bus either. So,
was he throwing them under the bus or making them accountable and just making sure that we're not blaming the coaching staff because he knows the coaches are showing up every day to make sure the team is prepared?
I think, we want to say the players are getting paid the money, such forth. But I think if he could have went back and said it, he may have changed his verbiage on that because you could have just said everybody, works hard. Everybody works hard every single day. When you said it's all about the players, you could sometimes alienate your locker room that way with the players feeling like, oh, you're not protecting us, but you protected the coaches. When you should know how it is as a player, a former player yourself. A former player yourself, who he played in the league for 16 years. So he's not like some flash in the pan player who maybe played 2 or 3 years. And that's not to throw any shade on anybody who played only 2 or 3 years, because you still got to fulfill your dream of playing in the league. But he played 16 years in the league, so he knows he's been around, so he knows what it's like. But you have to in some ways say, hey, you could have answered that question where you could have said, we all played hard and it's just been a rough stretch for the team, because that's how it goes a bit. And that's another thing, how it goes. The Nationals are an up-and-coming team right now. They've been rebuilding after that championship season. This team is rebuilding all over again. They're, Bryce Harper was gone. That's when they finally won a championship after getting rid of him. They thought that he was supposed to be the face of the team, but when they got rid of him, they had Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Ryan Zimmerman, who was a long-time Washington National, along with Steven Strasburg. They finally won that championship, but then it's been downhill ever since. They haven't had an over 500 record since that World Championship in 2021.
Oh wow!
So at some point, 8 years as a coach. At some point, when do you start to make that change and say, "Hey, this thanks for everything, but I mean, because you got a nice young nucleus of players now with Kiba Ruiz. You got James Woods, who we saw earlier hitting the home run. You got C.J. Abrams as well, who's leading that team. You got well, Dela Cruz is still out on the verdict on him, the young prospect. He hasn't played for it. They got Josh Bell back actually now. He's playing on the team also as well. You got your ace of Mackenzie Gore. So, it may be Dave Martinez may not be the coach to take you the rest of the way now in this new rebuilding process.
So you saying it's the coaching staff? So you're saying it's the coach?
I don't think it's. I think it could be every coach gets to a point where you can take a team but so far.
I totally agree with that. Like sometimes, in the rebuilding process, yes, coach, we appreciate what you did, the culture, the atmosphere that you brought for us, and the unity. But it's time to move on. You can't bring anything new to this situation. And it's nothing personal. This is business. We want you to go somewhere else to be successful, and we want someone to come in here and be successful. So hopefully it could be amicable if they decide to go that route and, part ways.
Yeah, and there's correction on that. Correction on that is the 2019 season, just to correct as far as championship when they won that when Nationals won. That was in his second year as a coach of the team.
So,
and with that being said, when you say stuff like that publicly, you're gonna lose the locker room. And once you lose the locker room, that's it.
So do you think he might have made that statement because obviously we don't know what goes on behind closed doors within the organization? Do you think it's possible that he knows that maybe his time is up soon and he might be trying to save face like, hey, I know I'm going to be good if I go somewhere else. I just want to make sure it's the other coaches, they don't blame them and I'm just going to put this back on the plays and stuff like that because they might be acting like pansies in the locker room and I'm just frustrated?
I mean, you could think that, but everyone knows what the job consists of when you took the job. You know that there's a chance that you could always be let go. So I don't think is that. But I know he's probably heard the rumblings and knows. I mean, you're self-aware. Your team is on an 11-game losing streak. The organization was going through a change as a change as well. So, and now especially with them trying to they finally got from under that terrible contract with the Orioles, with the Mason Network. Orioles weren't really paying them out what they were supposed to. With the Nationals in it, they were both teams are on the same network.
Oh, I didn't know the Mason Network.
Yeah, the Orioles owning them. That old owner there. So the Nationals have finally gotten from under that, so now they can find another provider for the network to air the games on a regular. I know they got somebody now, but I forgot. I think they're still under Mason, but they're trying to get someone different and be completely separated. So you got a lot of changes coming within the organization as well. So I think Dave Martinez could be a good fit, possibly to go right up the road on the Beltway to Baltimore next year. I don't know if the Orioles are going to be, they're going to stick with this interim coach who's never really, or not, or they're going to need a better, because you got too good of a talent up there in Baltimore too to where I don't know if that coach is going to be the fit. So Dave Martinez could be a coach where Baltimore might be his next stop. Who knows? There's a couple other places out there too that's going to be looking for a head coach.
Well, speaking of players making another stop, yeah. Can you bring light to this situation right here about this young man, about Christian Campbell?
I just did.
Oh, my bad.
But that was when I was talking about. He got designated from the Red Sox, and they sent that back down because as you can see, they're showing his record. Besides, he wasn't playing too well lately. I mean, he's young. He just got called up recently, so I think he'll be back up soon. We wish him well, in the meantime. I don't know if the boss is going to move him. I highly doubt it. But, right now he's just not hitting well. So, they send him back down. I know, remember we talked about that last week about being sent down to the minors, but things like that can happen, You get a little taste of what the league is like. You go back down, you improve on your game, and then you come back. And then next time you come back up, you don't never go back down.
Right. Now, do you think they brought him up just to get a bit of experience, see what life is like? And like you said, all right, you're going back down there, get better, perfect your craft. So, when we need you, you come back.
Well, at the time, no, I don't think that he was actually going to be there, like hoping that he would be an everyday player. They're going through, they're going through changes in Boston, new players and new positions. So he was actually supposed to be expected to possibly be an everyday player, and they was trying to see if he would work out at first base, even though that's not his natural position.
What's his natural position?
He's a second baseman. You got second
Okay.
and shortstop, so he's more within that range. But that's a change that you got to make, and trying to play a position that you probably haven't played too much of. It's acting. I'm not saying it's asking a lot, because that's one thing I will say I think is very important about players, especially when you're kids and you're younger. Learn how to play every single position. Like, I look at my nephew now. He plays second base primarily, but he's played a little bit of outfield. But I want him to learn how to play every single position as well.
Mm-hmm.
That way, once you become a utility player, you're going to find a place to play every day, just about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Definitely does, yo. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up for the MLB news and stuff right now. So, Nate, quick question: did you what's the next thing you want to come up with? Do you want to do your Shining Stars, or would you like to do the other video, sir?
Let's go with this Shining Stars.
All right.
Now, for these Shining Stars, it's going to be. I know last week was different. I went with the college teams and the women's college and the Division II baseball player who set the record for the Division II for most hits in the season. I want to shine a little bit of light for the MLB Combine, which started about 2 or 3 years ago. Where they actually started televising it. First day is like 6 hours long. It was just playing around in the background, but I was keeping an eye on it. I ain't got the eye or anything like how Harold Reynolds and all those players, former players and former coaches that was out there. But I just wanted to shine some light on some of these players who are ranked as the top 20. It's in no particular order, but top 20. And some players that I saw myself while watching and thinking that, these are some players that we might want to look out for going forward. And from those players, you got Ethan Holiday, who is the younger brother of Jackson Holiday, who plays for the Baltimore Orioles, and they are the children of Matt Holiday, who's a former longtime baseball player. You've got also, if you can zoom in a little bit, Jay.
Okay, give me one moment.
As you can see, I'm going from top left to right or down. Then you got Seth Hernandez. You got Jamie Arnold. Then we go down to Eli Willis. Is that Willis? Yeah, that's Will. Oh, Wilkes. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. And what's that? Alva Arquette. We got Jacob. You got Jacob. You got JoJo Parker. And actually, his twin brother Jacob was also in the combine in the same group when they were now batting. So they were batting at the same time. So got to see both of them committed to Mississippi State. Casey Cunningham is also one of the top highlight prospects as well. He went out from coming out of Texas, and he's committed to the University of Texas. You got Jason Lavalette. You got Galvin Klein, which is actually Killen, which is actually one of them that I liked when I was watching. And then you scroll down the last row, we got.
That was the last row right there. Just 17.
So we got some of those players. Also, some other players that I saw: Bradley Ebel, Daniel Pierce, Ethan Moore, who's a switch hitter committing to Tennessee, Mason Pike, Tatum Gray, and Reed Worley as well were some players that I'm going to look forward to in the draft. Also, as far as former players, Manny CC Sabathia's son, and I'm sorry I didn't have his last name. I think it was Carles or something like that. Sabathia. He also tried out in the combine. So did Manny Ramirez's son. So the draft is coming up next month, right around All-Star Weekend. So look forward to the draft. So if you hear some of these names, you heard it from here. And again, with the draft, you can get drafted on a draft day, and you may get called up to the big leagues right after the All-Star break. You never know.
So let me ask you, Nate. Out of all those players, though, that we just ran through, who do you think is the most prolific, or the most, at least a couple of those guys that are pretty dope, like the best of the best out of them?
Well, me just starting to try to follow that route, that's tough because, it's like following college. College got so many teams, so many players, right. But Casey Cunningham was stood out to me. Gavin Fiend, he stood out. Reed Worley, he had some power. I was watching the way he was the way his swing. I mean, he was hitting bombs out there, 400 plus out there. They were the combine was out at Chase Field in Phoenix for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, you know they made him take a drug test hitting 400.
Hey, these kids hit different than what they were back in the days, you know. So there's going to be Ethan Holiday is also has been rumored Ethan Holiday may actually go #1. So there's going to be it's going to be some good picks, and then we're going to just see where they land at and how they do in the league. So good luck to all those young stars.
Listen, I wish all those young players nothing but the best of luck. I hope you guys go out there, do your very best, shine the brightest, and get what's coming for you, man. Get that bag, man. Get that check, man. Y'all been playing this game your whole life for free. You put yourself in a position to get paid now, to be a professional, be an official professional baseball player. Yo, live your dream, have your fun, but now is the time where you get paid for it, and that's
money.
Dope. And I wish y'all the best, man, because now you're in a position to take care of your family, take care of your loved ones, take care of yourself, and have financial freedom for generations to come. So yeah, man, y'all young boys, you know what I'm saying, do your thing, bro. Because you know me, Nate, I'm all about the bag, yo. These kids got to get the bag, man. They've been playing their whole life. Don't let these corporations, organizations take advantage of you, man.
Oh yeah, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at that. Real quick, I did miss something in the news, but I'm gonna just say it. Andrew Vaughn was traded to the Milwaukee Brewers for from the Chicago White Sox for Aaron Savali. Last week I mentioned on the show Savali was with the Milwaukee Brewers, and he was not happy with the Brewers moving him to the bullpen for the first time in his career. He joined the league in 2019, so he was upset about that and demanded a trade immediately. So Milwaukee obliged and sent him to Chicago to the White Sox.
Wow. I know they baseball, they petty in baseball.
Man, I didn't know they was that petty, dude. Like,
yo,
I did not know they were that petty in baseball, man.
Yeah, I need to start paying attention to the news more because
exactly, man.
It's like
you don't want to be here? Okay.
Yeah, it's like a soap opera. You don't want to be here. I'm seeing a no man's land. Yo.
And also Kodai Senga. And Jay, I know you're not gonna want to hear this, but he has gone onto the injured list. After he suffered an injury in the 6th inning last week against the Nationals. Wow. So it's like he's got a strain. So right now he's on the IL. There's no set time as far as his return.
Be all right though. What you say, Nate? It's a long season, kid. Rest up, get tough. We be back. But even though that was some sad news, man, we got some. As far as random news goes, we got some actually positive news that we would like to bring light to. About a coach that's doing wonderful things, yo. So Nate, would you like to talk about this real fast?
Now I try to give a little bit about it because I didn't get a chance to really go over it, before, and I apologize for not looking at it. But we talked about a lot of black talent. This is this page on Instagram that I be following sometimes, and about how one outfielder powered the Louisville Cardinals to the College World Series. I can't read the player's name, and I wish I had my thing up right now. But basically, it was talking about how it transcended for a lot of young black college athletes being able to go somewhere and play. And the coach of Louisville is one of those who's recruited a lot of players out of there to come and play. As you see on this page, they were talking about the player King, right? Why he wears number 42. And how he went from Chicago and the pipeline, like he go back to Chicago and he tells a lot of guys his age, hey, come out here to Louisville and come play in Louisville.
Well, that's excellent, man. Because
one,
you don't. And I was telling the president of Quattro's Little League, not a lot of brothers play baseball anymore, man, and that's especially in the inner city, and that's great. You got a brother coming from the inner city playing baseball.
Shout out to Coach Rndown, yo.
You know what I'm saying? That's good. I love that, man.
Yeah, you see, he intentionally recruits black athletes from inner cities because, as we all know, we've all grown up in the inner city for a little bit. Even those of us who might have lived in the South later on, you've seen some of the parks in the inner city. A lot of them don't look that great, and it's just concrete. And You know, one of the parks, and I'm not trying to sensationalize anything in the neighborhood, just saying about where I grew up at, in Brooklyn. Well, at least on one side, you know, not everywhere. They had some parks that had some grass, you know, like St. John's Park had grass where you go out to Bushwick, but like the main park over where I was at 309, before they changed it up years later, but when I was a young kid growing up and playing PAL and all that, it was just all concrete, broken concrete, cracked valves and things like that. And
Broken
the things that you
glass
see,
everywhere.
yeah, right. The things
Just
you
like a
see in the inner
demolition
city. And I'm not saying that makes an excuse for players to not play, but it makes it a lot harder because sometimes they don't know where to go later on, or you have to go outside of your neighborhood. So then when you have to go further outside, and we've seen that in the College World Series, for those who may remember, with the Michigan team, and you had a reporter who went and digged up to say, oh, all of the kids on the team weren't from the same county or whatever. And I'm pretty sure a lot of those kids didn't have teams or any kind of organization in their county,
in
so
their
they had to
county
go
so you
outside the
go play
county.
with.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you got to go somewhere else just to be able to play.
Mm-hmm.
They had
You know,
no
and
other place to go.
in Major League Baseball, David Justice had talked about this on the he was a guest on I forgot whose podcast it was, but he talked about this as well. And he's talking about how Major League Baseball, and again, this is nothing against anybody, just making it. He's talking about how Major League Baseball, when they're trying to recruit these Hispanic players, they put camps over there. They got one in Dominican Republic, has one for the Orioles. It's an Orioles camp over there with the Orioles logo and everything, recruiting players, helping them train and everything. They were just saying, why can't you do that in the inner cities in the neighborhood as well in the U.S.? You can do that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's more for the inner city kids who can't afford to go to these certain leagues and whatever. They didn't got the money. They don't got $5,000 and all this other stuff. But baseball, almost like football, but I'm not gonna compare it to football. But those are sports where you need a lot of equipment to play. You know, baseball, you gotta have glove, you gotta have cleats, you gotta have a hat, you gotta get a helmet. You know, you gotta get all of these things to be able to play. You know, it's not like basketball where you're wearing a jersey and some sneakers, and then you just pay for your registration or whatever else. You know, I know basketball is expensive too, but I'm just saying, like if we were all to play basketball right now, all we need is a basketball to play. You know what I'm saying? We don't need a bat and a baseball and the glove and all the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tolerate this basketball slander too much. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, we understand. Gosh, yeah,
Cut it out. As much baseball slander as I deal with from y'all, cut it out.
Well,
this
I'll
is
say
true.
this. I'll say this. With football is different in the inner city because we support football more than we support baseball.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was gonna get that. We started to, and I think that's where I say the strike really played a big part in that. When baseball went on strike, that really it was already hanging on by a thread in our community, in the black
Mhm.
community. And then
Right.
now basketball and football went and took that over. People look at baseball as boring, you know, even though they're getting paid all that money, it's boring, it's not enough action. And then especially when you started seeing, you know, the celebrities that were the celebrities that those of us in the inner city, as far as black, especially black, who we look at, where were they at? Basketball and football games. They were hardly at baseball games. Now
Mhm.
maybe the World Series, you'll see the Fat Joes and the Jay-Z's and them show up, but throughout the regular season, you never really saw too many. So, you know, it didn't help either. And baseball wasn't marketing. So Ken Griffey Jr. said that too about marketing. But even Mookie Betts last year around the All-Star game, he wore a shirt that says, you know, about baseball being blacking and, you know, about getting more black athletes into the league again.
Yep.
Mhm.
Because I'm not gonna front. As a kid growing up, I remember seeing a lot of black athletes.
Miami.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Lot of black
And now,
players, man.
yeah, now you got like Xavier Edwards as well in Miami. You got Lawrence Butler and with the Athletics, and Denzel, the guy that jumped the wall on Jay last week.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah, you got him. You got Jazz Chisholm on the Yankees. You know, you got some more black players that are starting to play more and more. You know, as opposed to back in the days when you had the Ozzie Smiths, the Terry Pendletons of the world, the Otis Nixons, Deion
Mhm.
Sanders was playing when he wasn't playing football, Doc Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, Gary Sheffield.
Yep.
You know,
Mookie. Gotta love it, man. Got those Mets. So.
Cecil Fielder, Danny Tartable, Albert Bell.
Right. And then more recently you had Ryan Howard, and then what's the fast dude that used to play for Pittsburgh? McClendon.
Yeah, who's still playing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we it's coming back, but it's coming back slowly.
You know what it is though? They, like you said, they have to repackage it, remarket it, and present it to where baseball is really fun. And I will say this, parents, man, take your kids to a baseball game, man. That's a wonderful family, event to do. Let them go out
It
there
is.
and just have fun and see how fun the game really is, yo. And get
Yeah,
your kids involved in sports, yo.
like I took Quattro to a Nationals game a couple years ago, and he said, I want to play baseball when I get older. I said, cool.
See,
I'm
I
cool
grew
with
up down the block from Shea Stadium, so I just grew up going to baseball games. I tried to play baseball, wasn't my thing.
it.
Basketball was my
I
sport.
just sucked. I tried. I just sucked. I ain't gonna lie. I was terrible.
I wasn't. I mean, it wasn't my thing. I'm not gonna say I wasn't good. If I paid attention and I practiced, I probably would have been.
Yeah.
I'm athletic, so I would have been able to play it. It just, I don't know, playing defense, playing outfield, and playing shortstop. It was kind of boring, yo. I
Well,
start wondering stuff. My thoughts be wandering, so basketball just kept my attention.
same here with baseball and football. It was constant action, so I was constantly involved.
Yeah, constantly moving, constantly
Right,
athletes.
right.
Yeah.
And then I like to hit people, so that added to it. So
Yeah, see, that's why you didn't get enough hugs when you was little. That's what you telling us, right? I like to hit people. See, you get it. You understand, Arthur? This is a safe place, y'all.
Yeah. So like, yeah, and I can second that. I won't lie. The outfield can be a little drag sometimes. You just kind of kicking back there. You and your outfielders are just sitting around talking in between innings or in between pitches because sometimes you sit out there like, hey, infield, let us get some work out
Wait,
here.
and I'm talking about this was in Little League, so ain't nobody hitting the ball out there.
no, ain't nobody hit the ball out there.
Yeah.
I'm out there just throwing rocks in the outfield. Boy.
Yeah.
Looking at the moss, looking at the gnats.
You just be praying that somebody try to get aggressive and go for an extra base so you can finally try to throw somebody out.
Look, I'm over here. I'm so bored out there. I just start running to the infield just so I can try and get a play. It's a ground ball. I'm running all the way from center, all the way down, just trying to get in the mix, yo. Like, did you see me run? Like I was running.
And make no mistake about it. When I say about as far as even I would love to, as far as myself, culture wise, black representation, but in baseball in general, like any sport, you're good. So that's what I want to see out there. I don't like to make things about race all the time, but sometimes you like to see the representation, but it's like for the black representation, I don't want them to feel like, oh, it's not our sport, like it's not our sport to play. We don't have to go that deep about Jackie Robinson and them doing everything they could to play in the league and what they had to go through just to throw it all away now and not play. Major League Baseball covered that last year during one of the games when they had the Field of Dreams games about it, and we covered that on the main podcast with Jesse Reggie Jackson in the video about his experience during that time back in them days.
Oh man.
Anyways, shout out to Louisville. Shout out to the head coach to the players. Keep doing great things out there. They fell short of the making the College World Series this year, but they're doing great things. Which takes us to our next our videos. We're going to move on to the college world. Over the last week, it's been just one or two things we want to touch base on.
From Gage, a no-hitter.
Absolute Omaha. The Arkansas Razorbacks pitcher Gage Wood with a feat not seen since 1960. A no-hitter in the College World Series. Woods also broke the Arkansas single-game strikeout record with a mind-blowing 19 strikeouts on 119 pitches. A college kid. His only blemish from a perfect game, a hit by pitch in the eighth. The Hogs eliminated Murray State in their 3-0 win. Now Arkansas advancing to play the losers of LSU and UCLA.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, he went 9 innings with 19 strikeouts during that game. So a great feat, especially one that hasn't been done in 65 years. And then so shout out to Cage Wood out there in Arkansas. And then for what we got next day? I'm trying to remember. I want to try to stay on order. I think I got about the upcoming College World Series, right? Or no? Or is it the or is it the LSU Arkansas play?
I am about to pull it up right now. Give me 1 second. I forgot I had the YouTube link open, so I was hearing double talk for a minute. It was messed me up for a second, y'all. I apologize.
So good. We want to give a shout out to Jay. We thank him for all his work that he's done today, and every day on the show, and being one of him and Leo being especially the host of our shows. They get the videos up for every show that we do, from this show here to Moments with Unc. Oh, sorry, Moments with Unc.
You know you got to get it right, because he say he be mad at us when we do it wrong.
To our main virtual man cave, they get the videos up for us, the content. They get where you see the little tabloid, the little tags at the bottom of the banners. They do all of that. So it's a never endless job for both of them. So we want them to know that it doesn't go unnoticed.
Well, I really appreciate it. I be trying to let it do what it do. But yes, now I got the next video loaded up. I'm about to share it with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Arthur, we appreciate you rocking and rolling with us tonight on the show. As we always say, it's a team support around here.
Definitely. So this is from the College World Series. Like they say, Arkansas went on to play LSU. Arkansas had 3 opportunities to close out the game, and this is what happened, unfortunately, to them.
Ball, KP. To me, this is a no doubter. 6'4".
Start it from the beginning if you can.
Most certainly will.
I know you gotta get the audio together too, so I know.
Oh, technical difficulty. I don't even know what this is. We is not showing nobody another video.
Yeah, we getting random out here.
Mad random. This is what happens. It shows 11:30, yo. 11:30 on a Friday work week, yo. Might be on summer vacation, but I'm really not, because I'm still working.
This time he beats it into the ground. Aloy will go to third, and he gets the out. Did they have a chance to get 2?
Yes, they had a chance to get 2. They're
turning
2 on this ball, KP. To me, this is a no doubter. 6'4'3". I mean, look where Milam wasn't even at the runner's lane but he decides to throw this ball to third base. Look where he's at when he decides. He's not even in the picture.
This ball is hooked to left field, and a bad read. It goes off of the left fielder's head down the line. He is the winning run. He does get one to hit. It's off the glove of the second baseman, and here comes Hernandez. LSU is on to the finals.
Ooh, that feels. Ooh, I know. Sick. He mistimed his jump, but why he ain't throw it to first? At least try.
I don't think I think he might have been just in the moment and thinking about just get the for sure out. But you got to know you got to know who's up at bat, who's running, and you could have ended the game right there with that double play possibly, but that's a tough break for Arkansas. As you see, we saw the highs of the no-hitter and then the lows of the game after that against LSU. And so they ended up losing that game, which propelled LSU to go on to the College World Series National Championship, which begins tomorrow.
Yeah, but you got to at least try, though, man. I mean, I know we not in the place, so it's easy for us to say.
Yeah, I got a situationship. You got to know the situations at that time, especially in that situation. We're talking about a chance to get to the national championship game.
Yeah, I mean, you've been playing baseball long enough. Your skill set should know, man. That was a double play right there.
It was.
But like you said, Nate, it comes down to this right here.
Yep, we'll have Coastal Carolina going up against LSU for the national championship starting tomorrow, game 1. Coastal Carolina, if you're not familiar with it, is based out of Conway, South Carolina.
I gotta go with Coastal.
It's a Carolina thing. It's a Carolina thing for you.
Yeah, it's a Carolina thing for me. I gotta go with Coastal.
I'm not Yo, Art, I ain't front. I'm rocking with you, bro.
I got you. But yo, that dude running down the baseline slow as molasses though. That was an easy play, man. God,
listen, you know, all his friends want to beat him up now, son.
It's tough, and then you can see the players afterwards. They were consoling each other as teammates. It's a tough way to go and lose a game. And then you see the next play with the left fielder mistiming as far as the fielding that, and the ball hits off of him. And then you seen the second baseman just mistimed his jump, just missed it, and the ball hits the top of his glove.
Those are tough though. Those are tough.
That's a heartbreaker right there.
Those you can't really.
He'll be all right, Jay.
That's like the short hop at shortstop. You know, the ball take a short hop. You got to play on it, and it take a short hop on you.
He tough, right?
Yeah, they'll bounce back. I mean, it's a tough loss, but you'll bounce back from it and move on. Because unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of more losses like that in the game of baseball.
Yep.
Yeah, but on a good note though, you know what I'm saying? We got some games that we need to check out, Nate.
Right. We're going to start off with the ladies with the AUSL League with softball this weekend, which started off today with the Bandits and the Blaze. Then you got the Talons and the Vault. Then tomorrow you'll have those same games tomorrow, the 22nd and the 23rd. So these games will be aired on MLB.com and ESPN. And ESPNU, also as well as MLB TV. So, check a game out. Catch it. Like I said, the women's softball games are very exciting. The AUSL League, which again we reported this about a week or two ago. They just had made that partnership with Major League Baseball. So look forward to some good games coming up this week. It's probably like their last week, I think. Right now, they almost their last week of their inaugural season or whatever. But yeah, and then we got for the men coming up, which started today. Some of the series that are going on, games that I gave you for this weekend series. We got the games that you should look towards. One of those was with Rafael Devers. I talked about the Boston Red Sox and the San Francisco Giants, who right now in the top of the fifth. San Francisco is up 4-3. We got the Mariners and the Cubs. The Mariners beat the Cubs today in the first inaugural game. Of course, the Mets and the Phillies. Phillies beat the Mets. We also and then we got the Tigers and the Rays, who also, like I said, the Rays have been the hottest team since May 20th. They're playing this week. And then you got the Astros and the Angels. To look forward to starting next week on Monday, going from Monday to Wednesday to next Thursday for our next show. Braves and the Mets. As I said, the Atlanta swept the series in Atlanta recently. Now they will be coming to Citi Field in Queens to play the Mets. They've always played great series, and that's another series that's been really great too. Always been competitive all over all the years, going way back to the days when John Rocker was still playing and talking trash about the Mets. They've always played some great series in that division. Of course, the Braves were hated for a long time for having a stranglehold on that division for so long. 19 division championships, but with one title in 1995. So, those some games.
That rotation was thick, though.
Yeah,
it was. And the last series, with Maddox, Glavine, Avery, and all of them. And then and also the Cubs and the Cardinals, division rivals, will also have great series and long history. They'll be playing this week. This week coming up also as well. Starting on Monday, I think it is, or Tuesday. So those are the games to look out for the next week until we meet again on Thursday.
All right. Definitely shouting out the Mets, man. Hope they do what they do and got to get them dubs, yo.
So Jay, just a quick note. I'm of course I'm rocking with the Mets on this one. I hate the Braves, but
I appreciate that. Like I told Nate, I was rocking with the Yankees tonight as long as they're not playing the Mets. Yo, let's go New York, kid. You know how it is.
But when does the College World Series start for the men?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Now normally we normally have a training tips video right here to help improve your game. That will be the next segment. Unfortunately, I wasn't able. I was going to try and be ill, and I was going to try and find a video this week. I was going to try and impress Nate. Like, yo, Nate, I found a video, son. Let me know what you think. But I dropped the ball on it. It's okay. When I'm gonna get it right one day. But since we have Arthur right here, and Arthur's son is currently playing baseball, Arthur, what is something that you notice that you know one of the things that you guys practice on, that you see your son practice when he's with his team?
I just tell him to relax, pay attention, and relax. Because like I said, because my son is 6. Well, he just turned 7. So with that age group, they're so excited to get the ball. They're so excited to make the play. I said, just relax, just play, just have fun. And they put so much pressure on themselves, especially if the family's out there.
Okay.
And in the last game, my son went 1 for 2. He got a single and drove in a run. His first at bat, he struck out, and then he started getting down on himself because all his grandparents were there, his cousins were there. I said, look, man, just have fun. Just
play the game.
Just play. Everybody's proud of you regardless. I said, Daddy's proud of you regardless. And he went out there, and the only reason he didn't get a double was because the runner that was on first base before him was too slow. So he had to stop. But that's the one thing I noticed, man, especially at that young age. Just have fun. I mean, hell, even in the majors, just have fun, man. Just relax. Just play the game.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man, because, that is some sound advice. Like you said, parents, if your child is 10 years old, they don't need the $300 baseball glove, the $500 bat. What they need is fun.
They might need that, though, but still.
they need to work on their fundamentals, man. Stepping and throwing and stuff like that,
Right.
Hand-eye coordination. The glove is not going to make them catch any better if they ain't got no hand-eye coordination. The bat will not make them hit any better if they don't have any hand-eye coordination.
Right. That's facts.
Right. So all those custom design bats and stuff, you can say that for later when they get to high school and stuff. And then, like my nephew's league, that sign that they always put out there, no scholarships will be given out today. The kids are just having fun. And like you were saying, the kids, what they do is because if they know who's in the crowd, they if they get out and they got to walk back, they strike out. They're looking into the crowd to see how everybody's responding. They feel like nobody's cheering for them because they didn't get a hit. Some kids, it bothers them. I've seen in my nephew's games, kids start crying and then they don't want to go back out there. And then you got to sit there and console them and let them know, hey, it's just a game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, fellas, man, we've been on here for an hour and about 45 minutes, man. It's been a wonderful show. As always, before we get up out of here, listen, tomorrow we got the Virtual Man Cave podcast with the whole crew. Me, myself, Model Citizen J, MLB, Nate the Great. We got Arthur, the Panamanian warrior right there, the health and wellness guy right there, We got the legend Leo, we got your chef Troy, and we got D Rigger Unc, man. That's tomorrow at 10 o'clock, That's the whole team. Then on Monday, don't forget, we got D Rigger presents Moments with Unc. You know what I'm saying? At 9:30 p.m. Listen, it's a wonderful, wonderful show. Obviously, as you see, every time we say it that way is because Unc said we have to say it that way. So his show is wonderful and interesting. And of course, up and coming, we got Arthur's health and fitness show, health and fitness weekly workouts to help us, get right and stay fit and fabulous over 40, So before we step off and slide, Nate, man, you got anything you want to let the people know?
Just well wishes to the Los Angeles Angels head coach Ron Washington to step away from some health concerns. I didn't mention that either as well, but I remember seeing it as an update before we started the show. So I just want to wish him a healthy, speedy and healthy recovery. And that's it. To the Ron Washington.
All right. And again, all right, man. Thank you for tapping in and tuning in, rocking us with the show, man. You know what the Virtual Man Cave is about, man. It's a safe place for everybody. Pull up how you pull up, man. Pause. I don't know if that sounded too incorrect, but I'm just gonna say pause because I might need it. But thank you, Art, like I said, for showing up and showing out for the team, man. Is there anything you want to say to the people, yo?
As always, keep God first. Everything else will follow.
Hey, man, we appreciate that, man. You know the vibes. Keep your spiritual leader first, whatever deity you follow, man. And, good blessings flow your way. As for me, Model Citizen J, man, just be cool how you be cool, man, and flow like water, yo. We see y'all next week, same time, same bat channel, yo. Peace.
Yeah.